Come here. Alright. Has it come? Any more? No? Hold on. You first pot, you are. Yes, you are. You're first pot. You are. You're a big first pot. Aren't you? Eh? Yes, you are. Oh, hey, Bubba. Huh? Hey, Bub. You're a big first pot. Hey, Bubs. Yes, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. Very protective of your area. Aren't you? Very territorial. Yes, you are. You're not very good mummy with your puppies, but you're very territorial with your mummy. I'm sure. Oh. Aye. You're not getting kisses. Right. Make your corn. I can get that from the ginger. Chip, 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 chip. Oh, what? Oh, I'm like, oh, what? You got more puppies in there, huh? Probably. Huh? You're probably gonna have another litter, and then another one, and then another one. Yeah. You like having puppies, don't you? Yeah, you're alright, old tart. I saw your boyfriend lying outside the gate waiting for you last night. Yeah, I did. Yeah. We want more fusses. More fusses. Okay, more fusses. More fusses for Baba. Got no food for you though, darling. Yeah. No food for you. Oh, you can have some egg. You want some egg? Huh? You want some egg? Oh. No. No. No egg for you? Oh. You want to come? I'll bring you some chicken tonight, okay? Okay, let me get some chicken. We'll get some guy. Huh? Okay, yan. Huh? Amay. Okay, yan. Boop, boop, boop. Foot. Your foot, man. Foot. What? Yes, not gonna hurt. Yeah. This is Bubba. Say hello, Bubba. Hi. Sawadika. 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 Oh, don't get me. Don't get me. Sit down. That's enough. It's enough now. Off. Get off. Yeah. Crazy dad. Like any staffy kind of breed, staff Gibble Terrier, 100% in your Bubba, of that yolk. And no, she hasn't had the tail chopped off. That seems to be like a common trait with these doggies, or especially with her pups. Yeah, it's a genetic thing. I thought for a long while these dogs that you see with the adopted tails, chopped off tails, was a thing that they do, but it's actually a genetic thing. I've seen her pups being born without tails, and some of them also with tails. So no doubt she was one. She's a Staffordshire Terrier breed. I'm pretty sure that in her breed she's supposed to have a tail. She's not my dog. I don't know what her pedigree is. I don't even know what her real name is. They call her Bubba, but I don't know if that's her real name. Hey, Bubba. Maybe that's her Farang nickname. Hey. And yeah, she comes to visit me, and then when she has litters of pups, they often come to visit too, which obviously then becomes a problem with the people that I rent from, because she visits me and the pups are dragged along, and then they kind of get introduced to me, and that means this like little resort, if you want to call it that, is got uninvited guests. But they're not mine, they're just following their mum. Obviously, some of them find new homes, some of them don't make it, and yeah, because she's not been sterilised, she's obviously, she'll have pups. Like I was saying, she has a black and white, more of a sheepdoggy, like boyfriend. Yeah, more of a collie type dog. A black and white, more long-haired dog. A lot of dogs are this short coat and shorter, but her boyfriend, on the other hand, he has more of a collie, a lot longer fur. And he was camped outside our gate last night. What are you done? Keeping an eye on you and your mum. Yeah, but she often comes and says hello. Don't you? Especially during the daytime when the mummy is out at work. Her mummy is a teacher, I believe, at one of the local schools. Yeah. She's often coming to visit. Her coat's been improved a lot since I saw her last. A month ago, her coat was looking rather bad. It's nice to see it's thickening out again, and she's thickening out, but she might be thickening out again because she might be carrying pups. I don't know. She's used to having pups, as you can tell by her boobies. She's a lovely dog. She's very, very sweet. She won't even enter the room. She'll come up and she'll either sit or lay by the door. So she's very respectable, as in she knows not to cross the boundary line. Obviously, if it's thunder and lightning outside, for sure, she'd be wanting to be coming inside. The softie that I am, I have that in the room. It does say quite specifically on the doors here, you can see these posters, do not let the dogs in. But when it's thunder and lightning and it's not nice outside, it's in the end of the day, if she's bringing any fleas into the room, it's the room I'm kind of living in, isn't it? Her coat, I don't think, contains too much to worry about. The little spot on her back, it seems to be healing well. She had a little fight with another dog at some point. Not my dog, so somebody make up. Yeah, she's not my actual dog. She's just a visitor that comes to say hi. Keep me company. Stop me from losing the plot too much. It's funny how she's such a similar dog to a dog that I owned myself. 15-year-old Staffordshire Terrier. They call it a red, as in a ginger red colour. And she's always almost identical in every way, except for my Sheba, as she was named, had a tail. And as you see, this one, same body, same head, same everything, just different colour, and mine plus the tail. So, yeah, it's a lot of memories with me and Staffordshire Terriers. So the second that I saw her, when I found this place to rent 2 years ago, it was like, yeah, that's just another reason I'm in the right place to stay, because there's a dog here already that reminds me of home, kind of thing, or memories of home, being in the days. So yeah, it's nice having us come and say hello, and then when she has her litters, they can come and say hello too. That's if I'm here for much longer. I don't know. the Thailand changing the rules back to this 30-day thing on entry is I don't know. They changed it from 30 to 60 to increase tourism. So changing it back to 30 would now suggest tourism back to normal levels. Well, it's a little bit early to say. I would suspect it in a lot of ways, in as much as high season is only kind of now started for 2025. So certainly until you get to 2026, you know, towards springtime, as we would say in Europe, fall they would call it. No, not fall. No, spring is in America as well. But yeah, you won't know until around springtime whether or not 2025 season, which is like that now kicking off, was any kind of real success. So it's 2025, 2026. It's, for whatever reason, high season as they call it. It's cold in a lot of other places around the world. So, but Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, yes, they do have like tornadoes and things like that, but which is obviously extremely bad weather. They still have also most days like this, baking hot sunshine. So I don't know. It's not like they have really cold periods. Their cold season would be like a winter. It's still never really that cold. Certainly nowhere near below freezing, unless you're way up in the mountains somewhere. Then yeah, you might get below freezing possibly, but sea level would be very rare in Southeast Asia that you ever get below zero. So it's that tropical climate, isn't it? That's what people. That's the dream. That's if you can live in a tropical climate for your end years, where your bones need that extra vitamin D. They need that that feel good factor of being in a hot country. And of course, it's always going to be a major draw to live in Southeast Asia. My bones, my if I was to have a bone density test done now, which I had one shortly before leaving the UK, I would have thought they'd see a big difference. Only one, you can only assume when you're getting more vitamin D from the sun, natural vitamin D from the sun, that my bone density has increased. Although, to be fair, looking at you can probably tell I'm not overly tanned. I don't sit in the sun. It's not a good idea to sit there baking yourself, especially without any some sort of sun protection of some sort. And suntan lotion is very expensive out here in Thailand, and it's almost non-existent in Laos. It's a case of covering up is the best way. One of the cheapest way, just wear layers, isn't it? Oh, anyway, I'm still sitting here scratching my head whether or not I should go and purchase or go at least speak to some temple monks to get the opinion of maybe either start a GoFundMe or just do it as a community thing, to buy a temple gong and ask the relevant bodies to seek permission to go in and take it to the temple within the conflicted borderline area of Thailand and Cambodia as some sort of representation and peace mark between Thailand and Cambodia. And that's what I've talked about in other videos, is some underlying factors to this squabble. There's no reason. Yes, it's an extremely difficult place to, not, let's say, control as a border, because it's land, so therefore it can be controlled. It's not. it wouldn't be aesthetically pleasing to have too much of a barrier running through the middle of it, shall we say? Yeah, it would take away from its beauty. They want to keep that border area open, but it's which side can, I suppose, claim any resources, any other natural resources, or any other discoveries that they might find in that area. There might be more to the picture than just the, where they draw the line in the map. Obviously, and that's why the temple is obviously, like I've said in previous videos, it's the temples are businesses to some extent. They drive tourism, businesses, restaurants and shops and this, that, and the other open up nearby, so it brings in more commerce, and then hotels and places to stay, and resorts and all that good stuff. And looking at it from Google Maps, doesn't seem to be much in that area anyway. So clearly, nothing's been built up. There's definitely in any way, shape, or form, I would suggest any of the call centers or scam centers in that area. I think it's purely bickering between each side over the temple. So, my crazy idea, as I've just said, is to buy a temple gong or gongs, or start a GoFundMe, or some sort of online campaign, because I don't really do much in the way of social media. I do this YouTube thing. You can see I've got lots of videos, which are predominantly about Thailand and Laos temples, and that's pretty much it. To be fair, on the content, especially over the last 12 months. Prior to that, I was doing videos about all manner of things, you know. But I tried to find my niche and just do temple content, to find my place on YouTube. Because if you repeat the same thing, sooner or later, it will get picked up by an algorithm by doing all manner of different videos. And you have to fit not the criteria as such, but the algorithm. If you're doing things as a couple, doing things as a solo person reduces the likelihood of you being picked up by the algorithm. So I would always advise anyone who's looking to do YouTube, if you're in a relationship, definitely involve your partner, because that just feeds into the algorithm. That more of a niche market for the algorithm to find you and push your content. I'm obviously clearly no YouTube expert, but I know that at least about the algorithmic side. It'll always be harder for me to break into some sort of niche, and doing the temple content, and then doing it by a motorbike, and trying to visit as many temples and enjoy playing the gongs as well. I enjoy rubbing the temple gongs. It gives me a good feeling, and the locations are often very beautiful, and just for me the vibration that I get from playing the gongs gets inside you, especially when you seem to feel as if you're connected to the gong, because it gives you such a gripping vibrational feeling in your fingertips, and then to just feel that with your fingertips as you're playing it and changing the tone to high and low, and to increase the, if you like, the bassy feeling of playing the gong. For me, it's so addictive. It's probably no good for my hearing whatsoever, because playing them at 110 decibels, I think over 100 is damaging, and I think that the loudest I've got one to ring is 100 what was it 114 decibels, I think. It's the highest I've got a temple gong to ring at. and then that's damaging to over 100. It's damaging. So, and if I'm sustaining that pitch and that volume for a long time, I'm going to end up going deaf, and it'll be permanent. So maybe I should at least put something like an earbud in, or a minimum start putting ear protectors in when I play them. But then that's maybe not such a good idea. I've been asking people the etiquette, if you like, the if you know the rules around playing temple gongs, and there doesn't seem to be any, as far as I can gather. It's kind of they're there to be used. Whether or not you choose to use the mallet, the hammer, to strike it 3 times is up to you. Doesn't seem to be any rules, as it were. Sorry for the background noise. There's trucks coming and going, moving earth from one place to the other. They're picking it up here, making a trench, picking it up here, and they're taking it down to a property. Well, they seem to be building some up here and also taking some to another property just down the road. It's big business. If you want to invest any sort of money in Southeast Asia, I would highly recommend you invest in anything to do with earth moving, basically. Diggers, trucks, all that sort of stuff. Cranes, cherry pickers, any sort of machinery in any of that sort of sense of things, especially earth moving equipment like diggers. Big business, and obviously repair shops that go along and repair these sorts of things. That's the sort of business. Hi, Deandra, is that Deandra? How you doing? I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm in Sesiket province, not too far from the Cambodian border. I'm thinking of taking a gong, a temple gong, and asking permission for it to, either for myself to take it and put it in, or ask for some sort of peace talks between the two for it to be taken to the temple. Obviously, it'd probably be easier from the Cambodian side, but I'm not in Cambodia, so yeah, it'd be a big ask, for sure. For sure. And no one's asking me to, so that's a bit of a silly remark to make. I want to do it for my own reasons, Of course, the obvious would be for the views. If I obviously then post going to the temple, or at least attempting to, I do think it'd be good for, some sort of peace talks of such, or at least understanding that you shouldn't be, people shouldn't be getting hurt, and therefore an area becoming a danger zone because of, an area that two countries that have happily been neighbours for many years, and their cultures are heavily linked by Buddhism and just other beliefs and such like. And they're now taking pot shots, shall we say, at each other. Hopefully the old landmine issue isn't an issue, but obviously it's a border, so to some extent, you think of Laos and how many unexploded mines and bombs are still littering their countryside. Yeah, there's still lots of places around the world that you should not be kind of just wandering through, because of the remnants of previous military campaigns So unexploded bombs and what have you, ammunitions and this, that, and the other, like get unearthed. See, because Thailand's not been bombed, they can do this earth moving over here like they are next door to me right now without any real care in the world. You can't just plough through fields in Laos and you know get away with it so easily. It's probably a very nerve-wracking, especially for land that hasn't been ploughed or been through for a long, long, long time. Must play on their minds, So obviously now they can scan for that kind of thing, and bring the experts in to scan the area in that sense. But this area that Thailand and Cambodia are currently squabbling over. It's a shame. I've looked at the temple on Google Maps, and it looks like a beautiful place to go visit. And it's not. It's on the map. You can see it. You can look at it. You can research it. You can't seem to visit it, and I think it's been like that for a long time. I do. I don't think this recent conflict stopped the flow all of a sudden going through there. I don't think there was much of a flow going through there before this recent conflict from either side, Cambodia or Laos, Cambodia or Thailand. So I think that particular temple, for whatever reason, it could be visited. It's obviously there. What's left of it of late, because maybe they have been rockets put into it. So maybe it's more of a ruin than what Google Maps is currently showing. I can only go by, looking at the Google Maps, opening the satellite image and zooming in to see the actual remnants of the old temple that's been there for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. There's certainly no temple gongs there. Anyway, that's the point I'm getting to. And something inside me wants to kind of just either get several, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how it works in the way of acquiring gongs, in as much as, if it's a temple like a ruin, obviously the gong is well gone, Either it got moved somewhere else or something like that, or it just, rusted to nothingness. As you would expect with the temple being so old and such like, and it was tropical weather. Metal doesn't last well, especially not these giant gongs. So having the crazy idea of taking gongs there, or a gong, depends on how big the idea gets. If I keep it as is, that's basically me spending my own money, kind of put my money where my mouth is, as it were. Go and purchasing a gong. I could paint it myself, have a go at painting it myself. But that goes back to the etiquette around gongs. How does I know obviously people get the temples get donated gongs all the time. That's how they do a fundraiser or something. People donate and make merit so the temple can go out and purchase them. They're obviously purchasable, items you can go to the shop and buy. I've been to the factories here, and that's why I started thinking about it when I crossed the border from Laos. into. I mean, there's shops in Laos as well, so they're not just in Thailand. But Ubon Ratchathani, which is the province you come into, there's factories there. There's several very very large showrooms that sell all manner of different shapes and sizes of gongs. The thing is, they're supposed to be on a frame or supported of some sort. You can buy, I'm sure, just the gong itself, but it should come with its frame. And although transporting a gong is easy enough, you know, transporting its frame maybe not so. So I'm kind of limited to the size that I can buy and transport myself on the motorbike. And also, rather than me just doing it for the views, I'm wanting people to, um, see it that way. Because obviously, if I then um, record it either live or make videos, or should I just do it for the harmony, and as much as trying to get temples and monks and other local support and understanding for my idea to donate and put some gongs there, because I can almost guarantee there's none there at the moment. I don't know if that will make any difference whatsoever. I know it would be good clickbait, as it's called, but whether or not it'd be, you know, it's probably not a sensible idea in as much as there's maybe stray bullets um, flying. I mean, I don't know the actual lay of the land. There's obviously this a restricted area currently, so how far I could get is anyone's guess. I can guarantee no matter what, somewhere along the road, I'm bound to get stopped and searched and checked out. So if I just had myself and a gong, well, I mean, obviously they'd expect me to have a telephone as well, so there's no reason to not take the telephone. Um, and to obviously, um, present myself to the nearest checkpoint and translate. So that's the thing. I'd probably have to do a lot of translating beforehand, um, or maybe show them videos. Whether or not I get a signal, that's what I'm saying. Translating messages beforehand and copying them, because the chances are in these, the more rural you get, there's either one or two things is going to happen. Either you lose signal because obviously you're just going out into the countryside, or and also obviously what's going on right now, there might even be jammers and such like. So the phone might not even work anyway. So to get there and not have the ability to communicate and translate by using Google Translate because of lost signal, then hopefully they'd have other means of doing translate. But obviously, me and turning up with just myself and the gong, temple gong, is kind of self-explanatory, maybe, with just a little bit of um, pointing at pictures, of the temple where I want to go and donate. I don't know. They'll obviously on the Thai side, they'll probably say, well, they'll say, they should say to some extent no from both sides, given that they're pew pewing at each other. So they'll probably, but on Google Maps, it's shown as it being on the Cambodian side. Although, if I got the local media involved from both sides somehow, that'd be the best way of doing it. Maybe you should sit and write find some email addresses for some Cambodian and Thai news, social media news outlets, and contact them directly, saying, look, I'm an Englishman in Southeast Asia. You know, been here, been there, fallen in love with temple gongs. I've tried visiting the area before, but I was limited access. And now, obviously, she started pew-pewing at each other. It's even more limited access. And for, for selfish reasons, I want to go and get, take a temple gong and place it and donate it to this temple. But you two countries are having a little bit of a argument over whose land it is, but I'm not interested in whose land it is. I just want to go there, take my gong, and leave. Call it the gong temple. Yeah, well, peace gong. Yeah, there you go. The peace gong. That we call it the peace gong treaty. Piss gong. I'm not pissed. I might be high on marijuana, but I'm not drunk. I'll say hi to Baba again. The views go up when the camera's on her. People are more interested in looking at a dog than they are my ugly mutt. And that's right, Baba. Baba's so beautiful, aren't you? Oh, you want my kisses, do you? Come on, then. Come get some kisses. Come on, then. You want some kisses? Does you? Does you? Kisses? La 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 la. Kisses. La 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 la. You are a silly dagger. You're a nice bitch, aren't you? Oh, I can hear something in the skies above. Hear it whispering away. I'd say that's coming from Umaratidani. Probably just a normal plane going to Bangkok. Nothing to worry about. That's Baba. The local, I won't say homeless dog. She's got a home, but she likes hanging out at my home, don't you? If you do, she knows she gets fastest. That's why. Samsonite Mike, welcome. How are you? Yeah, I'm thinking of taking the gong to the border with Cambodia. You can call it the peace gong. Maybe leave it plain so then they can write on it and design their own, front of it. Just leave it plain. I don't know. There's no point overly thinking about it too much with the going to speak to any temples nearby to me, because I don't think they'll really have that much of an understanding as to what I plan to do with it. I'm sure there's no rules about who can buy gongs. I think you can just turn up at one of the showrooms, pick out which one you want, and they'll either just put it in the back of your truck for you or arrange delivery. So yeah, I think maybe the best option is to get in contact with some sort of media groups, maybe from the Thai side and the Cambodia side. I know it's a crazy idea, but and I'm sure maybe other people have thought it or have tried it, but as my channel has been kind of built around visiting temples and then finding these beautiful gongs to play, like give me so much pleasure and enjoyment. Having never really been able to play any sort of instrument at all, playing temple gongs and enjoying the feeling that I get, they give me, literally grounds me. It makes me feel good. It's good for my soul. Like, it's good for my vibration. We've all got vibration within us. We are vibrating ourselves. So when you're playing a gong and you're doing your thing with it, you're changing its tone, you're bringing. It's just an unbelievable feeling. So it adds for certainly for me, going to visit temples and having those on site, having gongs, hongs, chongs, whatever you want to call it, having them on site just adds to the pleasure of visiting, and it's also something for the visitors to do. It's an entertainment for the visitors, so it's an added bonus, shall we say. Some temples that I've been to, they've been outside in the baking hot sun, for most of the day. So for most people, they're unplayable. So they do become a bit of a display piece more than anything. Especially, obviously, the bigger the ones. The ones that are like, what, I don't know, 40 meters tall. Well, not 40 meters, 40 foot tall. Yeah, they're phenomenal size, but once I've been in the sun all day, there ain't much you're going to do with them. The real big ones are supported underneath, so they're not playable whatsoever. So anyway, I'm not planning on any grandeur to that extent, or maybe that's what it will grow to in time. Some will say, dream big and start a GoFundMe to have a gong placed there, a real big one, a massive one. But I can get just as much pleasure, and probably more so from a small 12-inch, 18-inch gong that you can actually play than marveling at the size and beauty of a massive display piece gong that's unplayable. So obviously the massive cost difference. I cannot really be even imagining to the millions of baht it would cost for one of these giant ones. And like I say, I'd want to play it anyway. So as big as I'm thinking is probably 1.5 meters maximum. Probably less than that. Probably near on the 24-inch, something like that. So not too big, not too small, and they're not overly expensive at that size. So I could buy the plain ones, and because the temple will have like some symmetry to it. I'm assuming. Haven't been able to visit, so it'll have some symmetry to it, I'm sure, and have four corners is what I'm saying. Is then place four gongs of equal size, and have half Thai and half Cambodian design and writing and language. Obviously, if they're outside in the elements, you want maybe some sort of tent or roof to go over them at some point in time in future, to put them in the shade and less exposed. But that's the idea. It's not a great idea, I know. And a YouTuber I was communicating with on his news report this morning, I was planning on going there, and he said that I'd be foolish to go there. But I obviously didn't go into details, you know. I just said that it's a temple that I want to go visit. I didn't obviously explain that I also was intending on maybe taking these gongs or a gong. Obviously, unless he's recognise my name and watch my channel, which I highly doubt. So yeah, it's a foolish idea, in as much as I probably wouldn't actually get anywhere near the border to be able to place it there myself and give it a go. So maybe the more support I've got from the local people, be it on the Thai side or the Cambodian side, try and get in contact with more of the communities in those areas. Maybe start at other temples that are nearby but on the outside of, and try and communicate my message a little bit closer to the border before actually concerning myself too much with actually getting at the border, and then maybe getting the low. Because what I don't want to do, is put myself in harm's way, and then maybe speaking to the locals that have been affected by obviously what's been going on, and then therefore maybe they think I'm up to no good for the opposite side or something, or just ruffling feathers, or just getting myself involved in you know things of a personal nature to them, but I'm kind of doing it for my own purposes. So it's like, who are you to come here and even do this kind of thing? So I don't want to piss people off in that sense. So I'm torn. I'm torn. I know it's not, definitely not the best idea in the world, but to be fair, I haven't got really much else to do. So it's only the self doubt, the the feeling of being turned around, or possibly turned around, or worse still, shot at and killed. The thought of putting myself in harm's way in that sense is probably not a great idea. Getting some sort of footage and feedback from trying would definitely be fantastic from a channel, but I'd obviously be limited, I'm sure, vastly on what I can. Probably have my phone confiscated for starters, so I'd be expecting that kind of treatment. That wouldn't be out of the imagination of what could happen if I even attempted to go near the border. And who am I to just buy a gong and drive to the border and say I want to do this? I think I definitely should be speaking to more local people firsthand. But like I say, it's a sensitive area, sensitive topic. So having to, even attempt to speak to those local people and film it at the same time, that might not go down so well either. So I mean, it's only me in the world as it seems, so I shouldn't really need to concern myself too much in that respect. You're born alone, you die alone. So, unless obviously you're a twin, then obviously you're not born alone. Well, you are still kind of. The doubt for me is saying don't do it, don't even attempt it. It would be a silly idea. And the other side of me is trying to say, be more confident, go out there, chase your dreams. But people will then, no doubt, if it does get traction and people start seeing this, it'll be a case of, oh, he's doing it for the views, and there will be an element of that for sure. And doesn't it need to be that way? Of course I'm doing it for the views because I want to, draw attention to the fact that two countries, for no real good reason other than the supposed line in the sand, yeah, of where a border where one land starts and another land ends, fighting over and potentially killing each other over. It shouldn't make any real difference. So for me to then go visit, I want to go visit the temple. Baba, shush. For me to then go visit the temple shouldn't really technically be that much of a big deal. But with them obviously shooting at each other, it is a big deal right now. Obviously, taking the gong, it would be a thing that I want to do because I'm pretty sure, having not looked at, I've seen it from above, and as much as Google Maps, satellite, I haven't visited it on the ground. Yeah, I'm just reading the messages that you just sent there. What's that? Sizzle Moon song. Sizzle Moon song. Do you play the gong? The temples. So I just want to maybe bring a little bit of peace to the area and put the. I thought you might do with a name like that. Yeah, take a gong along to these temples and kind of bring some sort of peace to the area, and obviously get the views and get people talking about it, and hopefully they'll stop shooting at each other and bring harmony and peace to the area, and obviously get to play a gong, donate a gong with a big meaning. You can obviously donate a gong to any temple, anywhere, you know. But obviously, I've been based in Sesiket for so long. It's the province that I've got a connection with now, so it's not too far from where I am. So yeah, my idea is to get to that area and either gain access myself or ask for permission for a gong to be put up and hopefully bring peace to the border area there between Thailand and Cambodia. What Preah, I think it's pronounced. So what do you think? Is it a crazy idea for me to want to take a gong or several gongs? I say I don't know what sort of backlash I'd have if I went and spoke to the local people. It might not go down too well. So in some ways, I'm probably better to do it by myself rather than getting any of the communities on either side to have any kind of say in the matter. The more I go out and try and engage with the local community nearby, maybe the more of a problem I cause myself. If I just buy one and at least just take it to the nearest part that I can get, or the closest part I can get, which would be a fair distance from the temple, I'm sure. Um, I'm only then going to probably engage in, maybe they'll send an officer from another part of that area. Maybe they'll fly someone in from, you know, by helicopter to come have a word with me. Might even take me in by helicopter. Who knows? And they might, the army and air force as well might then be able to make a more harmonious flight, like more of a peace making flight, dropping this crazy farang off at the temple with his gong to donate it and to bring peace to the area. If I was some famous, you know, rock star and wanted to do it, oh my God, imagine how global a story that would go. So, I'm also not expecting to go viral or anything, but, or even to achieve it. What I'm saying is, being like a rock star, you'd probably have more of a chance of achieving being able to do that. Well, you'd be able to, for it started, you'd be able to charter well, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to charter a helicopter, and you'd find it difficult to get any helicopter to take you to the area, obviously. So realistically, the closest I'm probably going to get is probably within, I'd say, 5 to 10 kilometre distance of the place. Probably a lot less than that, to be fair. Um, Although looking at the area from Google Maps, it will only take um, going down a track to avoid checkpoints, some dirt track that leads basically to nowhere other than to, one house, and then you have to hack your way through the jungle. There is other ways to get to the temple for sure. Do I attempt it in the madness of just doing it like that, or do I like at least try and get some support from the people, the local people, or local monks? I don't know. Uh, uh, anyway, I'm going to say sayonara. It's been an hour. I'm going to try and just keep the videos for a short time, not long time. There's probably so much you can tolerate. I mean, the views go up, the views go down, but yeah. You get this feeling a lot in Southeast Asia that you have a conversation with someone and it feels like you're talking to a brick wall, and that's what it's like doing YouTube sometimes. Sayonara.